Hello, Arjun. How are you
Hi,
doing?
Poonam. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well too. Thank you. Congratulations on getting admit offers from two good programs, ISB and Oxford.
Thank you.
How
Thank
does,
you so much, Poonam.
how does it feel?
It feels great. I'm taking some time. It took some time for me to digest that finally I'm going to get into an MBA program. It has been a dream for a long, long time. And finally, that dream has been fulfilled, but it's just a starting. Just the first step. I know it's a long way, long road ahead, and it's going to be difficult, but I'm up for the challenge. I'm excited, tensed, nervous, and all those feelings are coming. But I hope that it will be a great journey. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's natural to be a little anxious and excited as well. Arjun, can you tell us something about yourself? Where are you from? Where and what did you study as an undergrad? And what you are doing now?
Sure. So I am originally from Calcutta, India, and I did my undergrad in Bachelor's of Technology with a specialization in electrical engineering from West Bengal University of Technology. And then I have actually 10 years of work experience. I have been working for Tata Consultancy Services. It's an IT consulting company, Indian IT company, and I have worked there for 10 years, primarily in the insurance industry and in quality assurance space. So I have been pretty much testing with new tools and technologies. And out of the 10 years, I have spent 6 years in the US. So I was in Indianapolis for a few years. Then I was based out of New Hampshire and Greater Boston area for the last 3 or 4 years. And now I'm back to India. I'll be here till I join the program later this year.
Good. So when did you start thinking about MBA? It's been 10 years since you have been working.
Right. Yeah. So to be honest, MBA was in my mind for a long time, and it was in my mind when I started working for TCS during those early years because I always felt that. There are certain feelings you have inside that you know that you could be better in this, or you have some interest in that. So I always had that in my mind that I could be good at management, and I need to study an MBA, and I'm interested towards that. Although I was working in the technology area, so it was in my mind for a long time. But when you have a full-time job and there is so much of work pressure, I was just not able to get the time out of it. And then, to be honest, the real inspiration was my wife. So she kind of pushed me at one point of time, that she told me that I know you will be good at it. I know you are good at what you are doing right now. So I want you to do that. And I really started studying in 2014. For the first time, I bought the books. I still remember I ordered the main book. We have the OG guide, and then the Manhattan book set. I ordered all of them from Amazon, and I started studying in 2014. But what happened is that there was so much of gap, and I couldn't concentrate. It was very difficult. I started studying for a week or so, and then I stopped it. And because it was just very difficult for me to get into that zone to study for 1.5 hours or practice math. And then I started giving excuses to myself that I have work, I couldn't do it. And again, a year passed by, and she kept on pushing me. And I also felt, by that point of time, I also felt deep inside me that I need to do that, because I was realizing that I was going into a comfort zone, because I was doing the pretty much the same kind of work for the last few years or so, and there was not a lot that I could gain out of it. And when I was thinking in long term, and I knew that I need to get out of that comfort zone. So that was the one of the main reason. And besides that, my wife was inspiring me, and so I decided to start studying. And I started actually in late 2016, I believe. So that was the time I really started studying. And the interesting thing is that, a month into my study, when I was actually into that zone, that I was getting into a routine that I used to come back from work and I used to study at least for a couple of hours. And I, I think that a routine or a discipline is very essential for me, at least the kind of person I am. I am not a kind of person who will study, who won't study for 4 days and then study 5 or 6 hours on the weekends. I can't be like that. So I need to get into a routine because I am a very disciplined person. So I always made it a principle that I will study at least 2 and a half hours every day, whatever or how much ever work I have in office.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. What was your application planning strategy and preparation?
Right. So again, the interesting fact was that, 1 or 2 months into the program, we got to know that my wife was pregnant, and we were in the US. And at that point of time, it wasn't very easy because with so many things, as you know, our parents were not there, and I was the biggest support system, and we used to support each other. And when we look back and think about it, it has been challenging but a very fruitful and inspiring journey, and I'm really proud that I did it.
Definitely, and with her support.
Of course, she has been the biggest inspiration, no doubt.
And you are a father now.
Yes, I am. Yeah, and my son is going to be a year in June.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So any other part of application strategy that you would like to discuss?
Yes, definitely. So again, it's based on my experience, and there are a few people who reached out to me because I shared my experience in the GMAT club. And after reading that, few people reached out to me via LinkedIn or in WhatsApp, even in GMAT club, and they felt that my journey was very inspiring because working for 10 years and then going into that study mode or through that entire period of pregnancy, and after I became a father, I in fact gave GMAT actually 4 times. So to get into that score, I scored a 730 in the final exam, but before that, it wasn't that successful. So few people found it inspiring and they reached out to me. So again, the things that I tell to everyone is that the discipline, that is very, very important. From my experience, I could say that the talent or the merit that you're going to have, this is not something you can control, but some people are really born with great talent or they have different merit, but discipline is very, very important. If you are disciplined, if you are focused, and I think that is one of the most key aspects to my success, I can say. And every time I failed, I tried to analyze why I failed, what was the reason of my failure, what I was not doing correctly that time, and I came back stronger. And it's very important to have that. I feel that sometimes we just lose focus after a couple of failures, and we lose what was our goal. And it's very important to keep the focus, not to be bogged down by the failure. Instead, it's very important to be strategic. Sometimes we really get emotional that we failed and we take it to heart. Well, it's totally understandable. Even myself, I put so much of effort. Doing work in office, full-time work, and then studying. And then when I gave the GMAT exam, when I failed, it wasn't easy. But what I think is that, you really need to get going and you need to be strategic. Whatever work we do, whether you are writing an application essay or whether you are choosing choosing the person who will write your recommendation letters, or you are doing your error analysis during GMAT, it's very, very important for you to be strategic. To think with a clear mind and what you need to do. So I was strategic. I was very focused. I was very disciplined, and I never missed a deadline anywhere. And thank you. The first thing I did after I gave my GMAT was that initially when I was preparing for my GMAT, I had in my mind that I'm going to apply to 1-year programs because considering my experience and what I was looking for out of an MBA, like I wasn't trying to drastically change my career. I wasn't going to be, I mean, it was not in my goal to be an investment banker or to go into finance or something like outrageously change the career. So I was,
what are your
yes.
goals?
So my goal is mainly in the product management or operations management. And if that doesn't work out, but I'm just trying to keep it open. If that doesn't work out, I'm open to management consulting, like Deloitte, PwC, KPMG. These are some of my target companies. So I'm just trying to keep it open. So yeah, coming back to my application strategy, yes, I was always focused to apply to 1-year MBA programs, and then after I gave my GMAT, I mean, based on my score and my profile, I mean, I reached out to you as well and a couple of other admission consultants, and I did my profile evaluation. And then I tried to understand what are the schools that are suitable for me. And I mean, there are two aspects of it. One is that I need to fit into the school, and the school should be fit for me.
Exactly.
So there can be great schools, I mean, but they are not exactly fit for what I am looking out of an MBA program. So it's very important for anyone to analyze that. Sometimes we just go with the flow and the rankings and everything, and we are applying to all the top ranked schools. They can be very good too, but one of the top ranked school might not be the best fit for you. So I think that is very important to have that mindset that and again, each and every school has an essence of its own. So it's very important to understand the essence, what the school is going to give you, how you fit into the school. So once you do those groundworks, it really becomes easier even to write the application essays. And also once you go into the interview stage, how you need to present yourself, I think that is very important. And that is why it's very important to do the groundwork, understand the school in a better way. And that was one of the key aspects of my application strategy.
Very true. Arjun, you were accepted into both the programs you applied to, ISB and Oxford SAID. You finally chose Oxford. So can you tell me how Oxford is the best fit for you? You were talking about the concept of fit, which is so important. So
sure.
How is Oxford the best fit for you?
Well, I mean, it was a very, very difficult decision. I mean, I thought about it for almost a week, and before I finally decided to choose Oxford, I was very confused because, you know, both the schools has its pros and cons. ISB is undoubtedly the best school in India. And even if you compare compare the cost, ISB is probably, I mean, based in terms of the value for money. And also that the employment opportunities is probably better. I mean, I won't say better, but it's comparatively easier in ISB, whereas in Oxford, I am aware that I need to find my own because it doesn't work that way in the European schools like it works in the Indian schools. So I'm aware of that, and I'm up for the challenge. The reason I chose Oxford was primarily two reasons. What I am going to get out of Oxford versus ISB. When I thought about it, I realized that I could gain more from Oxford, considering that Oxford SAID has such a global student body, students coming from different parts of the globe and different expertise. They're bringing their different experiences, and that classroom experience is going to be really unique based on the discussion that I had with the seniors and current students, and also what I read in different blogs. The experience is going to be unique. Whereas if I compare with ISB, I mean, it will be mostly an Indian experience. I mean, interacting with people from different parts of India. And so when I compare that, I feel that I have more to gain from Oxford compared to ISB. And of course, the Oxford brand. I mean, it doesn't matter where, I mean, I can't really say where I'm going to work post MBA or how my professional career is going to shape out. I can't really comment on that or can't really say. But one thing is I'm going to carry that Oxford brand, or I'm going to be an Oxford graduate. And I really take a pride, I mean, when I think about that. And why I feel that I fit into Oxford, or Oxford is the best school for me, is because, again, the core essence of Oxford is that, I mean, thinking about the global problems and what you can do to, to work on, with that problem. Like they make the students to think at a very global scale. So when I think about that, I feel that I can be a good fit because it has always been in my mind, or even when I have been working for TCS, I have always tried to contribute to the society in whatever way I can to my best possible extent by volunteering with different groups, different organizations, whether in my professional world and the corporate social responsibility champion of TCS, and also in my personally also I have been working with different volunteering organizations both in India and US. So I have been trying to do that, and I feel that by studying at Oxford, by interacting with the students, I can take this forward in my post MBA career and contribute to the society in a better way.
And you wrote about the global problem of hunger and malnutrition in your
I did, yeah. And thank you for shaping up that essay so well. Yeah, it has always been in my mind. I was deeply affected by that. I've been seeing people coming from India, and initially, when I was in India, I thought that this problem was probably in India or the third world countries. But when I went to US, I realized that how big this problem is, and I don't think that we pay enough attention to it. We need to pay more attention. And the another aspect, even I wrote in my essay, and I was also asked in the interview in Oxford that what are the possible solutions to that problem, and I told about it, that how we need to get better at, reducing the wastage of food. The amount of wastage that I see from people every day, whether in my office canteen or in the restaurants, it really disappoints me. So I need to work on. I'm hoping that I could work on that my post MBA.
But the suggestions you had written in your essays and the suggestions you gave are indeed valuable.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
So Arjun, looking back, what was the most challenging aspect of the application process, and how did you overcome that challenge?
Sure. So the most challenging aspect was that understanding the essence of the school. As I have always mentioned, this was the biggest challenge because although some of the questions might seem a bit straightforward, but most of the schools are looking at how you fit into their school, how you can contribute to the school, how you can gain from the school. So all of those questions will connect to you understanding the essence of the school. And once you understand that, then you will be able to explain in your own words that how you can contribute to the school. So for me, the biggest challenge was whatever I in fact applied to 4 schools. I tried to concentrate myself only to a handful number of schools. I didn't want to spread into many schools because I wanted to be focused. And all the schools I applied to, I took time. Whether I succeed or not, that is totally different. But it has always been my strategy, and that is the one thing I really found difficult. That to understand the essence of the school. And in order to do that, I read up as much information as I found in the school's website. I read the blogs from the current students. I, in fact, reached out to a few of the students who have recently graduated from the school to understand more about the school that is probably not mentioned anywhere in the website. And those things have helped me to understand the school in a better way, and also whether the school is right fit for me and how I can contribute. So once I understood that, it was relatively easier for me to do the application, to write the essays, and to brief my recommenders, and all those things that followed. So that was really the challenging part, and that was the part where I took most of my time.
Oh, okay. So MBA application process is a long and overwhelming experience.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for the prospective applicants?
I didn't get your question. Can you come again?
I said, what advice do you have for the prospective applicants?
Sure, yeah. You need to be patient. Patience is the key here. It's really a long process. and by the time you apply, and then you need to wait for a month or so to get the interview call. And if you are selected for an interview, it's good. Again, you need to start preparing, and once the interview is done, you probably get the result in 3 weeks or so. And if you are not selected for the interview, you probably need to wait for the results of the next school. So it's really a long process. So I have few advices, key advices. The first thing is that uh, when you are choosing the school, it's very important that you choose. I mean, if you're applying to 4 schools or 5 schools, you can choose 2 schools where you probably, I mean, you just want to give a shot. It might or might not work. You can have 1 school in that section. 2 schools will be you really feel that you're going to get in there, or you really have a strong chance. And the most important thing is you need to have a backup school. If the worst possible scenario, if none of the 3 schools works, what you are left out of. So that is very important for you to analyze. Say, for example, you cannot apply. I mean, I can say for my example, because for each person the profile is different. Say me with the 10 years of work experience, which is considered higher for an ideal MBA applicant, and a 730 school, I cannot apply to all the top 4 European or the top 4 US schools. So I had to have a fallback option. So that is what I did. So that is very important. You need to have a fallback option. Even if you're applying to 8 schools, you need to select at least 2 schools where you need to have a fallback option. And definitely you can select one Harvard or one INSEAD if you have a 700 plus score. So that is the strategy I followed. And the other thing is that, as I told to you, that you really need to be patient. You need to do the groundwork very well. That doing the groundwork is very, very important. You should not hurry to submit the application essays. Although some of the essays might seem straightforward, they are not. I mean, they are thousands and thousands of applicants are applying to these top tier programs, and you really need to showcase yourself and presenting yourself in the best possible way, or presenting the best version of yourself, I should say that. I mean, you might have a very strong profile, you might have a very strong GMAT score, but if you're not able to present yourself in the right way, if you're not able to show that how you can contribute to the school, or if you're just telling that I am a good applicant, but if you're not showing that how I am going to contribute to my class or to my fellow classmates, I mean, yes, that is very important. And even few of the students reached out to me, and I see that there is a general perception among students, and even it was within me before I started researching about it, that GMAT is not the only criteria, and it can work in both ways. Sometimes people with low GMAT scores, they think that this school is not for them, which is absolutely not true. I mean, I can say that people with a GMAT score of 660 got into Oxford SAID.
Yes.
And I've seen that people with 740 scores, they didn't get into it. So GMAT is just one aspect of it.
Exactly.
Not the entire thing. So that is very important to understand. GMAT is just the only part. Even if you're getting a 760 or 770, you cannot be overconfident, and you cannot neglect your application essays thinking that you can get into the school with a high GMAT score.
Exactly.
So I think that's very important for the students to understand that, and then treat each part of the application with equal importance, whether it's the essays, the letters of recommendation, the resume. Resume is very, very important, because most of the schools will ask you for a one-page resume, and I mean, showcasing the achievements and the extracurriculars and everything in that one page is very critical. And you should not just write, I mean, some of the times, I mean, coming from a technology background, that the previous version of my resume that I had, even I had a shorter version, which was a 2-page resume. It was mostly I focused on the technology aspect, what I did, what technology I worked on, what certifications I did. But when you are applying to an MBA school, you can probably highlight the same achievements, but you need to write in a more, I mean, I don't know how to explain that, but it should be able to catch the attention of someone who is reading 100 applications or 100 resumes in a day.
Yeah, the focus should be on achievements and the impact you made on your organization, not technicalities of your job.
True, very true. And the other part is the application. The application as a whole, I'm saying, especially for Oxford, there were very key, there were very difficult questions, in fact, in the application.
Right.
There were questions like, yes, what are your career goals? What have you done, or what research have you done? What are you going to do between the time until the time you join the program to better your chances? So those are not easy questions. I found them as difficult as the application essays. So although people just talk about essays, letters of recommendations, but you need to treat the application with great importance as well. You need to spend a lot of time.
Essay.
Right.
Those questions in the application form were as good as full essays.
Absolutely. And the other thing is, in fact, you gave me that advice, and I also got the advice from someone else too, that there is no point to hurry. Once you finish the application, you should just sleep on it. Just keep it there for a couple of weeks. Think about it, what you have written. And then you come back to it if you want to revise it. It's not like you finish the application and you submit. It should not be like that. I feel that from my experience. What I did for Oxford was I completed the application and then I just kept it like that for a week. And I was thinking about it. It's not just I just kept it there. I was thinking about it, what I have written, how could I do it better? And then when you come back after a few days, you probably get another perspective. You come back with fresh ideas. You think that you can write it in a better way. So that was one thing I really followed. And I think this would be my advice to the prospective applicants.
Yeah. I'm sure all this is very valuable advice, and the prospective applicants will definitely benefit from it.
Thank you.
So let's talk about something outside of your professional area. What are your interests and hobbies? Any non-school books you are interested in?
Yeah, I have a lot of hobbies. Although books is not one of them. I'm not an avid reader, but I read books. I mean, if you ask me my favorite books, I don't read a lot of books, to be honest. But I really loved The Kite Runner and Thousand Splendid Suns. It's written by an author named Khalid Hosseini. So he is from Iran, and I really loved those two books and the way he portrayed that. I don't remember if he's from Iran or Afghanistan. I think he's from Iran anyways. So my hobbies are, I have a lot of hobbies. It includes cooking. I really love to cook. I love trying new dishes. And I love cooking. Of course, Indian. I love Thai, Mexican. And I'm a foodie and I love cooking as well. And I love photography. I don't say myself I'm a great photographer, but I'm really interested in it. Even when I'm not carrying my camera, I will just, if I find a good frame, I will just click with my iPhone what I have. So I really enjoy photography, and all 6 years I was in the US. Since I was in the Northeast, I used to go to Vermont and New Hampshire, all those regions which look spectacular in the fall. And I just go drive into any of the lanes where there won't be much people and just click photographs. I love photography.
So you have tried
Yeah.
You love
and I love movies. I watch films across the world. I attend film festivals. I have attended at least 3-4 film festivals when I was in the US. And I love discussing about movies. I used to have a blog also where I used to write movie reviews. It's been a while, and I still enjoy cinema. I really like the creative aspect of it. I think about how a filmmaker or how a screenwriter writes a scene, how a particular scene has been shot. So I really like the creative aspects of that. And I love volunteering and organizing events.
Yes, that's your passion.
Really, yeah. That's one of my passions. I have been volunteering for a long time. Ever since I joined TCS, it's been 10 years. I have been volunteering. TCS had they call it TCS Maitre. I think it's still there. In fact, in India, that is just based out of India, where you used to go to different areas, different villages. We used to educate the children, or we used to take classes. There could be different things. And then when I came to the US, I became a part of the CSR team. We used to I have been a part of a lot of events. I was a part of the American Heart Association where we did heart walk. And then I have been a part of where I got a knowledge about this global hunger. I was a part of the Food for Children. That is an organization based out of New Hampshire, and also New Hampshire Food Bank. I have been actively involved in both of those organizations. I have done a lot of events with them, charity events, auctions, and distributing foods, helping the older people carry the foods. We have done a lot of, and it has been a very humbling experience, I would say. I feel that through these events, I have become a wiser and a better person, a compassionate person. I have tried to look at world in a different way, and I have realized that how much impact we as individuals can make to the society, even in the smallest possible way. And those events, those attending these things, and interacting with people who come to these events and who are a part of these organizations, who work for this tirelessly and selflessly. They inspire me. And so that is one of my passion, and I plan to continue that as long as my health permits me.
Yeah, definitely. So, I'm impressed. I hope you continue working in this line, continue contributing to humanity, to the community around you.
Thank you. And I'm also a part of the Art of Living organization in India. I couldn't be actively involved since I wasn't based out of India, although Art of Living is in the United States and pretty much across the world. I have attended a few events, few charitable events, and again helping people. One of the key aspects where I was involved was that improving the mental health of the people, and through meditation or through different workshops. I really find that very fruitful.
Yeah, I know you have shared this experience with me when we were working on Oxford Essay.
Right. Yes.
These are some of the issues you feel very strongly about.
Right. Yes.
Arjun, is there anything else you would like to share with us? Any question, any other area of your profile that you would like to discuss with the viewers? Something that I haven't asked?
Yes, there is one thing I would like to mention. The thing is that the experience, what is the right experience for an MBA? I was really concerned about it when I was preparing for my MBA and when I started researching for the schools. Some people would say that 10 years is a very, very high for, it's not an ideal experience for an MBA candidate. And even few people reached out to me who have similar profiles as me asking this question. So I'm sure that there are many prospective applicants like me who is planning to do an MBA at this stage of the career. So I feel that, yes, experience matters. But you can overcome that. Experience, just on the basis of the experience, no school can reject you.
Exactly.
I have seen people going into Oxford or INSEAD with 13 years of experience. I know them. I have interacted with them. So it all depends on the different aspects of your profile. What your past work experience, what you have done. It's not about how much work experience you have. It's about what you have done in those years and how you can bring all those things on paper into your applications or into your interview. So all those people who are feeling demotivated that I have 10 or 12 years of experience, I won't be able to get into an MBA or to a top B school right now. I don't think that is the right way to think. You still have a chance. You still have as great chance as someone who has 4 or 5 years of experience. So you need to focus on your strengths and you need to bring those strengths into your application.
Exactly. The story should make sense. 10 years or 12 years of experience should not discourage you from applying.
Absolutely.
As long as your story is effective and convincing, you're going to make it. Last year, I worked with a client who got into UNC with 15 years of work experience.
Yeah.
So you have to tell a story that is convincing to that count.
Totally. Yes.
Arjun, this was very, very valuable feedback to those who are new to this process and also to those who have some weakness in their profile, weakness in the sense that they feel discouraged. They have 10, 12 years of experience, so they cannot apply to the MBA program. So thank you so much for your valuable inputs, for your time.
My pleasure.
I really
My pleasure.
appreciate it.
Yeah, and I would also like to take this opportunity to thank you. I mean, how valuable feedback that you have provided to both of my essays. I mean, I'm really thankful.
My pleasure. It was my pleasure working with you, and it was really nice talking to you.
Yeah, same here.
Good luck on your Oxford journey, and
thank you so much
on your professional career post Oxford.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.